of music. We walk the night of song. We'd be the bliss hiding deep in the kiss of a bass tone stretched out long. We breathe the air in saxes and relax upon the backsides of suns. We be the rhythm sliding deep inside the rhythm. We worship in the church of drums. We be jazz people living in endless gaps and dizzy chants and bulging cheeks that speak and seek to send us toward Venus. We be red wind ripping through city streets, gripping like tigers' teeth, stripping your flesh into shreds. Yet we've been here for 1 billion years, and few have ever seen us. We exist on a plane where kisses rain on you like snow in winter. We've abolished the ignorant knowledge of prejudices, both racial and gender. We don't understand why it is that man has a soul and he just won't use it. Life can be much more fulfilling if you would be willing to come and exist in music. Here, come sleep the dance music. Come walk the night of song. Come be the bliss hiding deep in the kiss of a bass tone stretched out long. Come breathe the air inside saxes and relax on the backsides of suns. Come be the rhythm inside of the rhythm inside of the church of drums. System gets juiced by external stimuli. Now maybe I ain't Ivy League enough to argue with that stuff, but the truth is that statement reduces the humans to be nothing more than merely consigned to the hollow confines of our shallow biologicals. And for me, that's a wee bit hard to swallow. So, therefore, friends, I contend that we Homo sapiens sapiens, after outliving and killing every other hominid that tried roughshod over this blue-green stone, have earned the right to be considered a mite more than this collection of tissue and bone, credit card debts, and student loans. Something about the dignity of the feelings of man. I like to think the reason it didn't include women is because if you ever spent 5 minutes with a real woman, you understand dignity was always intact. It was just us trying to take it away from them. So maybe it was we ex-wives who felt the need to rely on written statements to validate our existence. So to do concentration and sheer persistence, he hit upon the idea that just the act of pondering whether or not one actually does exist is itself constitutive evidence that one actually does, well, in fact, exist. To which I say, Mr. Descartes, no shit. Mr. Descartes, no shit. And though I mostly agree with Mr. D, effete Frenchman that he is, or rather used to be, I have always had a little bit of trouble with that statement. I've always felt it was a bit incomplete and needed a little helpmeet, a little cogito ergo sum and something else. As for myself, I have a proposition. So listen, I propose a companion phrase, one that takes into the many ways of human thought and passions, the myriad ways of human actions. Something like, sentio ergo sum. I feel, therefore I am. Might want to jump out of your left brain train wigs whenever you hear touchy feelings reeling their ugly. I mean, that kind of talk causes much balk. It is not exactly de rigueur in this pseudo-secure, postmodern, postmortem, grave new world where our uber hipper endowmentship demands that we can't ever lean coolly into our newly crowned theocracy, technocracy. But what the hell do I know, baby? I'm just a romantic, waxing semantics about the plethora of human antics. A poet whose eyes are transfixed on the ass and wide hips of a world that only knows how to fucking prose. So indulge me, if you will. There is a non sequitur on the horizon coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, when I was a younger cat, filled with vats of piss and malt liquor, I used to get mad as a junkie with his monkey coming down whenever I would spot Louis Satchmo Armstrong smiling, shining, grinning, Sambo-ass face looking at the world. Made me feel that after all the bloody noses and water hoses and fighting dogs and racist laws and dodging nightsticks and cracker-thrown bricks just to get a little bit of dignity in this land of my birth, that Louis Satchmo Armstrong's plantation grin could always pull me back to pickaninny. Like there wasn't gonna be no overcoming. But after getting a bit more dust under my feet and a little more reading under my ever-widening belt line, I've come to cop something about Satchmo, y'all. Satchmo was a fighter. His was not the smile of the obsequious head scratcher. No. Those well-kept pants of his were 32 shields against the angry onslaught of a world that was bent on knocking out his teeth. No. See, Mr. Armstrong just flat out refused to let anybody steal his joy. What I want y'all to do is to envision some ugliness in the world. And I want y'all to say this with me. I want you to say this. I ain't gonna let you steal my joy. gonna let you steal my joy. I ain't gonna let you steal my joy. I ain't gonna let you steal my joy. That's right, y'all. Try to remember that. When the big fists and the jackboots of the world come knocking and kicking at this trap door in your head. So brothers and sisters, and all you gender twisters, you heteros and homos and livibos who ain't sure or just plain don't know, let's not let them steal it away from us, y'all. Or if they did, tonight, let's take it back. Everybody who invited me to come and be a part of this this community, this place, to share the word and the music and all of that stuff that has made us, I guess, who we are, right? I like to think about who we are as human beings when I come to places like this. You know, it reminds me, I guess I think about our great ancestors who, after we became less arboreal and decided we was going to walk upright and went across the great savannah, we used to get together after we had killed something and hunted it down for its meat, and we had carcass and blood dripping from our teeth. Oh, do we got any vegetarians now? All right, we hunted down the great tofu beast at Trader Joe's in the frozen food aisle. We sat around with soybean dripping off our teeth, and we would tell each other stories, and we knew that to communicate was the way it was, right? And I guess that's the way it is with us. We are the species that communicates. We seek symbol, we seek meaning, and in the things we say, we organize sound into story and into meaning. Communication is at the heart of what it is that we do. You know, I often like to think, you know, when I put on my ethnomusicological hat, how did music begin? We don't really know, but I'm thinking that maybe it had something to do with the rhythm. We all hear the heartbeat, right, inside of mama 17 million times, as I think it's understood, before we come out. So we're these little water creatures, blind and shit, and all we feel is the rhythm that's guiding us, the original GPS, giving us some orientation as to where the hell we are, right? And so we hear that sound. I always like to think that it was probably men who gave us music, because women, you probably figured out, we like to hit shit. So we figured if we walked up to something that was stationary, like a tree, you know, we would just hit it. And since it wasn't moving, we figured it deserved to get hit again. So we did it again. And we figured, oh, wow. But somebody had to come along and have some sense, right? It's probably women. You guys are much better at language than we are. Much more complex in the way you think. Hell, y'all complete each other's sentences and all that shit. So, you know, we be wondering what the dude just said. You guys are on like another conversation. So somebody had to walk up to us and say, baby, what you doing? Tree hit, honey. Stop that. The tree didn't do nothing to you, okay? Could you cut that out, please? So we started learning how to listen, right? So communication, again, it does what we do. That helped us survive. That and opposable thumbs. Which we still use to do what? Communicate. We can't get away from it, right? So I guess I want us to think about this. All of us come from tribes where people would stand up and start speaking the word, right? And we would say things to each other. The tribe would talk back. So I'm gonna ask you guys, we're tribing here tonight, to give me one word. That's all you gotta do. One word. One interrogative Anglo-Saxon gruntable. That's right, you said it in your head. What? Exactly. What? WTF without the TF. So when I do like this, I just want y'all to give me like, what? And credits, like you don't believe me.
What? What?
All right. So let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, when a man took his hands and began to clap. And that was the beginning of the boom boom bap. Let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, when a woman started humming to an animal's call. And that was the beginning of the yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Okay, we can see some people got RDD. Rhythm deficit disorder. Alright, this is New York, alright? I know you can find the funk. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. It's like that, it's like that, it's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. Really? It's like that. Once again, here we come again, needing to feel what it means to be skin, to feel a system, the diastole, enrolled into poetry, fun, out, and soul. We know the body has intelligence, of which the intellect cannot dismiss, a consequence of biocultural experience. But let's take a quick trip and get a sense of what it means to be a human being. Back in a time that we can't recall, ancestors drummed in the humble night, under these same stars they believe were gods, shining down as they dance by the firelight. Their bodies casting shadows, voices grunting, imitating animals they knew they would be hunted. On the next stage, you provide sustenance for the tribe. This was a ritual intended to recognize life is born of death, like sunrise and set cycles from east to west. The drums would beat, feet began to step, moving from right to left. The men left as the chants rose from the women's breath. Now you know what music and poetry calls the blood. It's been this way since we brought from the blood. An ancient thing in the body and mind we've been dancing with since the dawn of time. Check it, let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a man took his hands and began to clap. And that was the beginning of the boom boom bap. Let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a woman started humming to an animal's call. And that was the beginning of the yes y'all. Yes, yes y'all. Yes, yes y'all. It's like that, it's like that, it's like that y'all. It's like that y'all. It's like that y'all. It's like that. Piano man, give me some. We good? Check it. Whether Irish or English or Spanish, Danish or Swedish or Polish, Russian or Turkish, Italian, German or Kurdish, Japanese or Assyrian, Japanese or Armenian, Portuguese, Hungarian, Hebrew, Bavarian, no matter the tongue you speak, language it has a beat, the body instinctively can translate into music. See, what science has found is we are creatures of sound. Our ears need to seek rhythmic patterns of human speech, like the words I'm spitting. Hear the rhythm that's in them, even before you get a hint of any content I'm kicking. You first think nothing of it but the verbal percussion, drums inside yourself, and then the head begins rushing. Your pulses get to throbbing, your head begins to bobbing. You feeling the effect of what the rhythm has been plotting. It's gotten you to synchronize, alpha waves and realize rhythm more than music structurally underlies each and every atom to plasma scattered on Saturn. Every stage of matter is organized in patterns which are architectonic. Everything has a tonic, everything has a cycle, everything has a sonic. Every life depends upon it. When engineers are wanted, this thing that refrains, remains, comes back is chronic. This thing that haunts us all like a ghost in the mind. We've been dancing with y'all since the dawn of time. Let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a man took his hands and began to clap. And that was the beginning of the boom boom bap. Let's take it back Let me see armpits, don't be ashamed. Okay. Bless you. Bim, batty, bim, bim, batty, boom, bim, batty, boom, bim, batty, boom, bim, batty, bim, bim, batty, boom, 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 batty. Shall I compare thee, batty, to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and far more temperate. Up whence come and shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Oh, Betty, oh, Betty, sometimes, Betty, too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim, and every fair from fair sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed, but the eternal summer shall not fade, nor shall you lose possession of that beauty which thou holds, nor shall death brag of your wondrous in its shade within eternal times. Through these lines you wrote, for as long as men can breathe, as long as eyes can see, so long lives this, and this give life to thee. As been born, as men can breathe, as long as your eyes can see, so long as this, and this gives life to thee. Oh, that was not an original. That was written by this old blues poet named Willie Spears. It's about a river. But respects to him. I always like, that was the cat who reached me, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but he reached me. And then I got to study more and more of him, and I was like, wow, this is the man. That March day in Massachusetts, when the second-rate poet from Chicago went shopping, he was only dressing for a comfortable night out with a girlfriend. Well, let's start that again. What he was really doing was he didn't know he would have a girlfriend yet. So what he was doing was he was dressing and thinking, how is this going to look on stage this evening? He was vain that way. Likewise, when she of Belmont, Massachusetts wore that cleavage-clinging pink halter top and ultra-tight pair of black pants, you know, the outfit that screams, damn it, I'm a feminist with a master's degree in education and I demand that men respect me for my mind. Yes, that one. She was only dressing for a comfortable night out with a friend who flaked on her at the last moment, leaving her to go out alone. She was not used to going any place by herself. She'd never been to a poetry reading before, and she almost didn't go this time, but then she did. She surprised us that way. They did not expect to meet, much less fall into one another and begin to walk that razor blade thin, spider web frail line that's sometimes built between two people on the verge of finding one another interesting. He was a man who had a rather profound liking for the ladies. All of them. Though he was surprisingly shy about women, especially that night. She, while being from Massachusetts and thus a member of the Frozen Chosen, was not used to starting conversations with anyone, much less second-rate poets from Chicago. But she was a little more forward than usual, especially that night. And somehow, though this is apocryphal, as stories tend not to corroborate, they generally agree that both of them eventually wound up at IHOP. And over a cup of coffee and a shared rooty-tooty, fresh and fruity, he thought, maybe. And she thought, maybe. As for you, well, you were not yet you. That is to say, you were you, potentially. But not yet this ever-parasitic tsunami of new discovery fueled by laughter and lactation, leaving broken drinking glasses and ruined CDs in your wake. No, you were somewhere else. Not quite there, a small curved question mark, faint and forming at the end of some egg named future. Then they loved. And it was good. So they loved again. And again. And during the August of one of those agains, the part of you that had been singing softly and alone inside of him began to sense the part of you that was singing softly and alone inside of her, which began to sense the part of you singing softly and alone inside of him. And both of those soft, alone songs began to find each other, and when they did, they began to grow and swell into one song. You. And when the growing and the swelling and the singing were done, you were lifted from out of the soft dark of her, lifted into light, into scream, into breath. After that, he took you into an empty room. And while no one could see the two of you, he looked upwards at the ceiling and imagined the fluorescent lights to be some ocean of greater light spread and stretching out endlessly above a land that smelled of salt water and village song. And as must have happened in the lands from which your ancestors came, he brought you close and trembling to his chest, whispered in your ear what your name would be, thanked his now dead ancestors for your safe passage, then asked for strength and guidance from whatever hand authored this. question which came out of a poem which came out of a question I asked my wife, and I'm sure that the men understand this, and I think you'll feel where I'm coming from. So whenever I think about something deep, I got to go to one of America's two existential musics, blues and country. When we first started sexing each other, I did everything you asked of me. Even though you wanted a lot of foreplay, my pet, and then after to cuddle till 3. Now years later, oh, we're married, and my years spent with you been my best. And though I wouldn't change not one singular thing, there's one thing I'd like to suggest. We've been hitched long enough to do quickies, some tender love making with speed. So just carve out 5 minutes for daddy to hit it, which is 4 minutes more than I need. You know I respect the mother goddess, cause heck yes, I'm a feminist man. I don't mind cooking all of the dinners, and I'll whip up your breakfast with ease. But a man needs to poach more than eggs with his toast. So please, baby, please, baby, please, we've been hitched long enough to do quickies, some tender love making with speed. So just carve out 5 minutes for daddy to hit it, which is 4 minutes more than I need. Now sometimes a man don't want ritual, we just want an animal and plain. Sometimes we just wanna hit it, then quit it, then go watch the Jets play a game. Now we don't mean to be disrespectful or come off like some chauvinistic creeps, but sometimes we just wanna spank it, then thank it, then take our male asses to sleep. George, right? I understand, brother. Now I try to put it out of my mind and think on all those little blessings we've got. And most times I'm successful at remembering that we're special, except for the times when I'm not. Like when we go to church Sunday morning and the preacher says pray silently. I thank God there's no thought bubbles, cause I'd be in hell of trouble if the congregation would read, Lord, make her give me a quickie, some tender love making with speed. Just carve out 5 minutes for daddy to hit it, which is 4 minutes more than 4 minutes more than 4 minutes more than I need. You know, I always liked doing that too. You know, the best time I remember doing it, I was in Lexington, a place in which I live, and there's a 95-year-old woman named Elsa Sullivan. She is the woman who the elder who you would see in the back of the Cadillac on Patriots Day waving, you know what I'm saying? And she came up to me, and she's from Arkansas, and she's like, it ain't just the men, you know. She's like, I buried 3 husbands. I'm like, itchy, yeah. Damn, Elsa's rocking it like that. So So my wife and I, we always crack up on that. Because we had a place, I like to do a piece that is kind of a little more serious, and I guess I dedicate this to those who fight for change, those of us who figure that our, before the shit jumps off, there's always this gathering, there's always this atmospheric, there's always this thing that we don't really know what's going on, and then the spark hits, right? There's the gathering of the kindling. We can see, we never know what's going to jump it off. We can see what's happening with many of our brothers and sisters in the part of the world which we have called the Middle East, and what happened with what we've called the Arab Spring, how the kindling was there and something jumped it off, and we don't quite have names for that. This country went through that. It's going through it now, I think, but we went through that most especially in around the years 1963 to 1969. So these pieces are called Zeitgeist. And it is about the voice of the time, what's happening at the time. And I guess, unfortunately, what will happen again. When the voice began singing was when the fist opened, was when space failed between hammer and anvil, was when something lifted our hands to our faces, was when the scales fell and we named them, was a querulous light then aching our eyes, was verb exacting the length of our ear, was our feet religioning their way through intestines toward some fearful Damascus. One where messiahs danced atop smoldering textbooks and oracles spoke of a fire to come. Like an embryo prophecy, nascent yet lumbering its way toward insurrection. But there was no word yet for insurrection. No word for breathless at last. No word that incanted that killers be fearful as Christ in a cage built by slave-owning men. No book would impregnate a barren constitution or teach us the phonics of bulleted speech. No blueprint would show how to build a new brick that would stitch a new tower from us to the voice. All we knew was we needed a tower, a stitching of brick back into that voice. It was the hour of tear gas and napalm, of monks immolating like huts of saffron straw, of red fear quaking the grassy knoll, of the bullet, the balcony, Audubon, and Allah. It was our cities become crucibles of ash. It was hurricanes of cock ripping rice women open. It was the hour of knife and womb razor, the hour of hope impaled through the rib. How did we come to this high place of lonely? What solitary road did we travel to this stone? What are the names of the scars of our anger? What do you call this ineffable moment? In the after of our impact, and all that escaped from our fire would be captured, stuffed, and displayed in museums, so posterity could see what once ruled. But the doubts found us again, kept on finding us, no matter how our tribes urged onward. They hunted us like madnesses, slow and hereditary, deliberate and bitter alchemies that spoke the monster's back. What is the poem of a splintering anything? What is the prose of a backwards tear? Is there a color for a hijacked alphabet? Why does hope name her immigrants blue? Where is the scale that tells what blood weighs? What are the increments of numbness? Is there a flower named future? Forgive us. What is the smell of a doubting hand? How do you say 30 pieces of silver? How do you say my country is torn? How do you say my eyeballs keep melting? How do you say 13,000 miles from home? How do you say the amendments are aching? How do you say the students are dead? How do you say the nightsticks keep on bleeding? How do you say there's a gun in my God? A narcotic haze, the time of the fist in the face and the gun in the mouth and of tanks rolling into our learning. It was the hour of the crossroads, when pacifist and fascist shared the hour of the tolling bell, of soldiers returning, their faces made zero, while banners burn the ghost of mangled scars into our hands. There is the child who burns like a flag. Here is the flag that sleeps like the law. There is the law who laughs like a racist. good? Oh, a couple more. Get out your way. My son Jordan, some years ago, 7 years old, he came home from school and he was very upset about something he had done. And what he said was, I just feel like I want to kill myself. Now, though I understand that he's 7 years old at the time and he has absolutely no idea what it means to consign oneself to oblivion, as a father, that was hard to hear. So I did what I normally do, and I took him to the good book, the complete works of William Shakespeare. And I introduced him to Senor Hamlet. And we went through it piece by piece by piece, and I was like, people have felt this way before. I told him when I felt that way before, between 15 and 18 years of age, when everything looked bleak to me. So we watched the play. I explained the lines, and we went through it so that he would understand that there's a literary help for him somewhere, that he can always turn to the words of other people to help him crawl out of the morass. I guess it brought me face to face with male suicide, particularly males who phenotypically resemble me. But as I've done the piece around, I get that it's for a lot of folks. I do a lot of work in the prisons, and this is a piece that they always request. And I guess it's for all of us who are trying to hang on by our fingernails. So retort to Senor Hamlet, to be or not to be, that is the question whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take his own arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing in them. To which I say, to is or not to is, that be the dig? So you tripping about whether it's hipper to let this world's mishigas habitat your head rent-free, or to dirt nap yourself like some necroleptic worm, hope that by copping irreversible Z's, you can kapow the 1,000 ouches that living in skin decrees. Methinks the brother doth kvetch too much. Lord, what a fool this mortal be, all that suicide stuff you kicking, kid, as for my part, it's Greek to me. So right now be the winter of your discontent when your cheeks sting and sing an existential lament, and what you really need is a brotherly backpat, but all this world wants to give you are hard slaps. Yes, the milk of human kindness is sure enough funky when it's your throat that's close to the noose. And don't nobody want to love you but your mama, and hell, she might be lying to your ass too. I can dig it. And so could the cat from Strat. I mean, he warned that sorrows would never come singular, and they don't, do they? When they show up, they don't show up to play Xbox, baby. They come to play you, like a pipe. Bring the Ides of March down on your head, see if you've got the gut for the fight. Make you wanna out brief candle as an ill wind blows your way. Make you wanna give up cause life's this rock you got to roll uphill each day. But you swallow the red in your mouth, look your demon dead in the eye, quick in your belly fire, and through blood-stained teeth cry, havoc! And let slip the dogs of ass kick. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock and grunt. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock and grunt. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock and grunt. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock. Time to man up and stand up and kick some sand up. Time to pull your nutsack up into your stomach. Time to reach down and retrieve now whatever was left and lost on that ancient grassland. Time to beast yourself up from the canvas. Time to remember what you used to be. It's time to sculpt yourself by the hammer and the chisel of your own hand. It's time to do more than take it, pretend and then fake it, whine, cry, complain. Time to get to pissing at whoever's been pissing on your head and got you believing it's rain. Got you believing life is nothing more than the signified shadow of an idiot's moan. But hang on, brother, hang on, brother, hang on and on and on and on, and don't you out breathe candles as an ill wind blows your way. And don't give up, cause life's a rock, you got to roll uphill each day. But you swallow the red in your mouth, look your demon dead in the eye, quicken your belly fire, and through blood-stained teeth cry, havoc! And let's slip the dogs of ass kick. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock and crunch. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock and crunch. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock and crunch. You gotta put your shoulder to the rock. Time to snatch yourself back from the precipice. Ignite the lightning left in your lungs. Ain't no need to sweat your last breath, kid. It'll come. It'll come. Cause even golden lads and girls all must, like migrant workers, one day come to dust. And you're right, none of us living under yarmulke, crescent, or cross can cop the science behind death. But for now, be a piece of work, man. Angel your actions, noble your reason, infinite your faculty, and learn to apprehend like a god. Because we are the masters of our fate, though we think we're under heaven's spell. But both fault and deliverance are not in the stars, but in ourselves. Foolish mortal, be the stuff of your dreams, though you shake with fears and regrets. You know the world just might be a stage player, but it ain't your exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. Say it with me, it ain't my exit yet. So don't you out free candle laps and ill wind blows your way. And don't give up, cause life is a rock that you just got to roll uphill each day. But you swallow the red in your mouth, look your demon dead in the eye, quicken your belly fire, and through blood-stained teeth cry, havoc! And let's slip the dogs of ass kick. Put your shoulder to the rock and grunt. 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 See you from the band, people. This will be the last piece, and I appreciate everybody for being here, for showing up and breathing. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't do that today, and we are some of the lucky few that did. So appreciate that. Part of the issue I have with our country. In Western culture, well, our country in particular, in Western culture, is how much we hate philosophy. We hate systems of inquiry. We prefer systems of certainty. So we're much more comfortable with a statement than we are with the eternal questions. And poetry is all about the eternal questions, right? And I mean, I guess, when you're in a place where, we want turkeys in 5 minutes. Cooked in 5 minutes, and we want all kinds of stuff, 30-second commercials, there's, 57, 67 frames. We want it like that, right? And I can see why we're pissed off. I mean, philosophy is a thousands upon thousands of years endeavor of asking questions, and we ain't answered one damn question yet. I dig it. But I think it's the question that makes us better. We seem to be a species that really thrives off of that. When we stop asking questions, we atrophy, right? We do that. So I guess this is for those of us who have the nut, the gut, the ovary to question. And with poetry, we always deal with those two main things, which is eros and thanatos, right? And I guess everything we figure out is that we don't know what the hell is happening, but we know we're here right now. So we got to deal with that. Somewhere between Venus and Mars, short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. Here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars, short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. Where do we come from? Where do we go? What is it to question? What is it to know? What is this thing that we've deemed as reality? Is it real or is it just some fallacy that we've invented from our senses? Is this world really a screen upon which shadows are beamed as they radiate, emanating from a light screen from behind us? Why does space and time seem to confine us? Is there more to us? Or are we just intelligible dust that floats in a vat of galactic blackness? Does anybody really know what the fact is? Is there a being listening to prayer? Or are we alone and there's nothing there? Well, I don't know the math, but I know somehow 1 life plus 2 short equals live your life now. Here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. I said, here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. Aristotle, Plato, Zeno, and Parmenides, Epicurus, Augustine, Sartre, and Socrates, Bodhidharma, Gautama, Kant, and Protagoras, Kierkegaard, Hegel, Emerson, and Pythagoras. All of them relentlessly question the mentions that make up the makeup of human existence. The manic and the madness, the panic and the sadness, the inner and the outness, the how to be withoutness. The Greeks called us thanatoi, y'all. Meaning that our lives are so brief we might as well not live at all. But isn't that part of the beauty we possess? The fact that we're born in this flesh means we're destined for death, and we're all merely borrowing breath that'll pass to another just as soon as we've left. The only moments that we have are what the fates allow. Life is lived short, so you better live now. Here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. I said, here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. of this collective voice on the stage. I've not committed every name to memory, therefore I will not call out any name. But we worked hard for this, and I appreciate these guys and everything they did. I want to thank our sound men back there, Zach and Justin, for all of the hard work that you guys did. We got to give them a bad guy. What happened is Justin and Zach set everything up yesterday. And then the custodians came in and cleaned up and they took out every wire. So all that work had to be done all over again. And they handled it. I think they did an admirable job. Thank you, brothers, for doing that. I want to thank my first connection here in Oneonta, who brought me here years ago, because he believes in poetry, that silly fool he is. Because he has this belief that there's something about the power of the word to bind us and glue us together. So he stakes himself in that. I'd like to thank Mr. Rob Tebow. I want to thank Mr. Art Ballbush for cracking the whip and for being hip. Now he's not here, but we can applaud him in that section. And last but certainly not least, the gentleman who has been on the phone with me and emails back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, who has, if anything is going smooth tonight, you realize there's been people who've been sweating to make it happen. This stuff is not spontaneous, just as it's real about the ground. It takes a lot of hard work and spit to do this. And he's done this on sabbatical, when he should be chilling out drinking Oregon, figuring out how he's gonna publish or perish. He put this together. Please give mad love to Mr. George Holmes. My name is Regie Gibson. That 50-cent will buy you a now no longer sold Twinkie in Massachusetts. But I want to thank, above all, you guys for being here, for doing this. We're going to have a little coffee and stuff. Hang on, I'd love to meet you. Here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived holidays hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. I see it. Here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between